this call so that you can use it to refer to. So you don't necessarily need to take tons of notes here today if you don't want to. If you prefer just to listen along and make sure that you get the most out of it, then you're welcome to do that. And so I want to define what courage means right up front when I talk about the courage to plan. Courage is very simply doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done, whether I feel like it or not. And so if you've been in business for any period of time, if you own your own company, if you're a human being, right, you have opportunities to be courageous on a regular basis, to do what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. And the framework that we're going to walk through today is the planning pyramid. And there's 4 parts to the planning pyramid, and really what they are questions. The bottom part of it is the foundation. What is the purpose of my business? What is the purpose of my organization? The next part is what is the personality of my organization? And I'm going to dive into what exactly that means here as we go through the webinar. Then what is the plan for my organization? And then finally, what is the priority? What is most important right now? What you'll notice about this diagram here, or this picture, is that there is the arrows circling around the plan and the priority. And what that shows you is that the purpose of your business and the personality of your business are something that are foundational and lasting. But the plan for your success and the priority of what is most important right now is always changing. It's always changing. And what I mean by that is that your plan and your priority may last for a period of up to 3 months. It may last for a period of 6 months or 12 months. But as the market changes, as your organization changes, as you grow, your plan and your priority are always going to need to change. So what you're going to get by the end of this session here is the foundation of a process of planning so that you can have a tool that you can use for your organization for the rest of your life. Okay? So a little bit about me. My name's Eric Anderton. I help entrepreneurs identify and overcome their most pressing problems. That is really the focus of my organization, is to help entrepreneurs identify and overcome their most pressing problems. Folks I work with here in the Sacramento area, here are some of my clients. I work with them, helping them with their strategic direction. Really, most of the work that I do is all around this planning pyramid, helping them to get clarity, helping them to get focus, and helping them to succeed. Me personally, I'm married. There's my wife. She's awesome. Those are my 4 kids, and we have an awesome time together. So I've been married now for about 10 years. Enjoy that greatly. I've been in Sacramento since 1995. And I've been involved in youth soccer, coaching Little League. I was the chaplain of the Sac State football team for a number of years. All my prayers for them did them no good as far as winning football games. And I've also done a number of youth camps over the years with different youth groups in the area. So the question I have to ask you today, and just something for you to think about real quick, if you want to type comments into the box, you're welcome to. Why are you here? Why are you here today? If anyone has a comment that they want to type into the chat box, feel free to do that. But let me ask you, why are you here? What brings you to this webinar? What are you looking to learn? So that's something for you to really think about as we're going through the process here. Okay? Being thoughtful about your business and really taking time to consider your business is extremely important. Perhaps why you're here is because you're stuck. You know, you're not really clear on what your plan is. You're in one of those situations where everyone's standing around looking at you and you're stuck in your business. You have no real plan or no real picture on how you're going to move forward to be successful. Perhaps you're uncertain. You don't know how to plan. You don't know how to really put together something that you can focus on and help to drive your business in the next 6 months or so. Perhaps you're unclear. You don't know the right questions to ask in order to develop a good plan, and you're unclear on how to execute on that plan once, if you were to actually get one. Well, the thing to think about is this. I just want to give you some facts, just some real clear facts. 55% of businesses fail by year 5. Let that sink in here for a moment here. 55% of businesses fail by year 5. Why do they fail? Number 1 reason is incompetence. Number 1 reason is incompetence. I like to put it in a little more casual way. Sometimes people in business are pretty clueless. They really have no idea how to run a business in a successful way. Many people who start a business are technical experts. They're very good at what they do from a technical perspective, but they are not very good at the nuts and bolts of successfully running an organization. And why you're here today is to really be able to learn how to plan in order to be successful. I promise that at the end of this time you're going to have some clarity and you're going to be able to have some confidence so that you can really focus on what you need to do in order to be successful and plan well in your organization. So, who are you? Are you the confident one or are you the clueless one? It's a good question to ask. So, if you are able to develop a clear plan so that you know where you're going and what you need to do in order to be successful, it's going to help you to be more successful in your business. Here's a little graph. Those people who have a business plan are 20% more likely to grow their business. They are more likely to secure investment capital, and they are more likely to secure loans. All of those things are essential in order to run a successful organization. But when it comes to planning, because so many of us are technical experts, but we're not necessarily business experts, we get very afraid or we're very uncertain about how to plan. And I always like to refer to this movie when I'm thinking about things that people aren't confident about doing. I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Edge. It's from the late 90s. I really like the movie. Basically, the story is this. Either these two guys are going to be killed by the bear, or the bear is going to kill these two guys, right? And these two guys are modern type dudes from the city, and they come into the wilderness and they get into a situation where they have to kill the bear in order to survive. And the guy on the left, the Anthony Hopkins character, this is his quote from the movie: "What one person can do, another person can do." And I want to encourage you here today. Many, many businesses have used a process like the one I'm showing you today, and have used it in order to develop successful plans and execute on those plans. And so what one man can do, what one person can do, another person can do. So in other words, you can kill the bear. And so stick around as we go through the webinar, and you're going to see how that happens from a practical perspective. So let's talk about this planning pyramid. The foundation of the planning pyramid is your purpose. And we're going to dive into that right now. So what is our purpose? That is a great question that you need to ask for your business. What is the purpose of your business? Why does your business exist? How do you contribute to a better world? How do you make people's lives better? Now, when I ask that question, what your purpose is, you might immediately say, well, my purpose is to make money. And I agree, the purpose of a business is to make money. But very often, for most people, making money is an outcome of being in business, but it is not the reason that they are in business. It is an outcome, but it is not a reason. And so when you ask this question, what is the purpose of my business? It's time to get aspirational. It's time to sort of think about the mountain that you want to climb. It's time to not be tactical. There's plenty of time to be tactical and practical, and that's going to happen as we go through the process, but it's really a time to be grand and aspirational. And the key is, when you're thinking about why your business exists, what the purpose of your business is, this is not a marketing exercise. You're not doing this exercise so that you can put up something on the wall that people will see necessarily, though you may want to do that. And you're not going to publish it on your website necessarily, though you could do that if you wish. But it's something that has to resonate for you. You're looking for the most idealistic reason for your business existence. So I'll give you a couple of examples here. Walmart, to give ordinary folk the chance to buy the same things as rich people. Nike, to experience the emotion of competition, winning, and crushing competitors. Now think of that for a moment here. Now, I don't know what you think about Walmart. I don't know what you think about Nike. And for the purpose of this exercise, it really doesn't matter. What's interesting about this is both of these companies are crystal clear as to what their purpose is. Now, you may read those things, and maybe you don't shop at Walmart, maybe you do. And it may not resonate with you, and it may not. You may read the Nike one, and it says that they like to crush competitors, and that might actually offend you. The thing to keep in mind here as we're going through the process is that when you ask what the purpose of your business is, it must be true for you. It must be true for you. So let me give you a quick process to help you with that. Ask the question, what is the purpose of my business? And then whatever the answer is, write that answer down, and you can even do it right now if you like. What is the purpose of my business? Write that down, and then the answer to that question, ask it why. Ask why. And then after you've asked why and got an answer, ask why again. 5 whys. Keep asking why, because again, you're looking for the most idealistic reason for your business's existence. Okay? And this can help you from being reactive and short-sighted in your business decisions when times get tough. Let me give you a few more examples. Think of Nordstrom's. Why does Nordstrom's exist? Nordstrom's exists to serve customers. Okay? Think of Southwest. Why does Southwest Airlines exist? To democratize air travel. That's why they're in business. Some other organizations exist for different reasons. Think about a Little League organization. They might exist to better their community and to contribute to the community. I know some companies who solely exist to make the lives of their employees better. Okay? So I know one company that is a contractor, that they're a contractor in roofing, and if the roofing industry went down, this gentleman would start another contracting company in some different area simply because the whole goal of his organization is to provide a good living for the employees who work for him. Okay? So ask that question. Why does your business exist? What is the purpose of your organization? And if the purpose of your organization is just to make money, then you need to be honest about that and be completely upfront so that you can be true to that. Okay? Now, an organization's reasons for existing, its purpose is not meant to differentiate itself from another company. It's meant to clarify exactly why it's there so that it can execute effectively. So that's the first way, the first thing that you want to think about. Now, let me give you an example. Here's a contractor's example. We exist for the enjoyment we get from problem solving with the people we love and accomplishing things. Now, I really like that. This contractor went through this process. This is one of my clients, by the way, and this is what they came up with as a result of their asking 5 whys to the question, why do we exist, or what is our purpose? We exist for the enjoyment we get from problem solving with the people we love and accomplishing things. That's pretty cool. Are you that clear about why you exist? If not, then you need to really think about that as far as your business is concerned. Let's go on to the second part of the pyramid. It's the personality of your organization. Now, this is critical right here. It's the personality. So let's dive into that. What do we mean by personality? It's a fundamental set of characteristics and principles that define your company and guide your behaviors and decisions over time. So think about that for a moment. It's the fundamental set of characteristics and principles that define your company and guide your behaviors and decisions over time. Another way of thinking about it is this. It's really the heartbeat of your organization. It's the heartbeat. It's who you are. Okay? It's who you are. And not only that, but it provides, when you ask this question, building blocks for things like determining the culture of your organization, who you hire, who you fire, the operations and how you run your business, even the people that you choose to do business with. That's one of the wonderful things about being in business is you can actually choose to do business with some people and choose not to do business with other people. Think about it as if we went back here in the slides. Let's think about this. If you have a customer that is contrary to the set of characteristics and principles that you live by, okay, then you don't have to do business with them. I was talking to one of my clients today, and we were talking about doing business with someone in a particular industry. And I was telling them that I wouldn't do business with that particular industry simply because the values that they hold violate the values that I hold. They violate the fundamental personality of my organization. So it's very important for you to ask that question. What is the heartbeat of our organization? What is the personality? And this is how you do that. It's a 2-step process. Number 1, you want to identify the employees that embody what is best about your company and then dissect them. Ask what is it about them that really makes them special? What makes them really special? What is it that enables them to do an awesome job in your organization? How do they view the customers? How do they interact with your employees? Now, if you're the only employee in your organization, you might have to do a little bit of introspection here. But you need to identify the employees that embody what is best about the company and then dissect them. Now, this idea of personality, it's at the heart of the organization, and it already exists, and it's something that doesn't change over time. Okay? And it's something that really sets you apart as in a unique way as far as an organization is concerned. The second step of the process is to identify employees who are talented, but they're no longer a good fit for the organization. And then ask why. Have you ever worked with someone who's clearly talented, but they don't fit in the company that they're in? Perhaps you've had an employee like that. They're very competent, they know exactly what to do, but because they don't share the same personality that the rest of the organization does, they don't have the same values, they don't have the same heart, so to speak, they don't fit into the organization, even though they may be entirely competent. That is the two-step process that you need to go through in order to identify what the personality of the organization is. What's interesting is that clear differentiation, or that clear identification, attracts and repels the right customers who want to do business with you. It guides your hiring decisions, and it guides your behavior and your accountability in the organization. So it's absolutely critical. So here's the example from the contractor again. This is their personality, and this is what they came up with. We do more than expected. Now, I really like that, because if you think about a lot of the value statements that you read for companies, you know, integrity, honesty, and all those kinds of things, they're just words, right? And they don't necessarily mean anything. And remember, when you're identifying what your personality is, you're doing it for you. You're not doing it as a marketing exercise. And for them, what really identifies them, the heartbeat of their organization, is we do more than expected. And that may not sound like super fancy or anything like that, but the great thing about it is it resonates with them. They know exactly what that means when they say we do more than expected. And they use that in order to hire people, in order to let people go, in order to build processes, in order to decide who they do business with. We do more than expected. So that's the second question. What is your personality? Now, let's keep moving here. What is your plan? What is your plan? Now, this is absolutely critical. And you'll notice here, this is the area where we get into that circle that's going around, because your plan isn't always going to change. Your purpose and your personality, those are things that are pretty much set. But your plan and your priority are things that are going to be dynamic in your organization. So what do we mean by a plan? Well, we mean the word strategy. Strategy, that's one of those complicated words, right? Well, really it isn't. All strategy means is this. It is your plan for success. It is your plan for success. So don't get overwhelmed by this idea of planning or strategy. In fact, here's a good quote. George Patton, right, the general. A good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan next week. Some of us, you know what we like to do? We like to plan, and then we don't do anything about it. And I want to encourage you. One of the things that I want you to go away with from this webinar today is this. You need to put together a good plan. Not a perfect plan, but a good plan. Do some thinking and then start acting on that thinking. The more action you do, the more feedback you'll get from your action, and that will then help you to adjust your plan. But a good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan next week. So, strategic signposts. That's what we want to take a look at here. We want to think about the strategic signposts. And what we mean by strategic signposts are really the things that are going to help inform every decision that you make so that you can be successful. They're going to guide you in the ways that you should go. And this idea of putting together your strategic signposts is kind of it's sort of a dynamic one, and it's a real fun one. So what you want to do is you want to get a blank piece of paper or a whiteboard, or you want to get a flip chart, and you want to start writing out all the things that are true about your organization beyond your purpose and your personality. So think about things like pricing and hiring and location and marketing, advertising, branding, partnering, promotions, your pay scale, your benefit package, all of those things. Just throw in the apples, the oranges, the monkeys, the Cadillacs, everything that is currently true about your organization. And what you want to do as you do that process is you want to look for patterns. So let me give you I was just going to show you this next slide. This is totally cool. This is some work that I did with one of my clients, and we just spent about 3 hours throwing stuff up on the board. as to what is true about their organization as it's currently constituted. And what we were looking for as we did this is we were looking for patterns. So you notice here as we're going through the process, there's some areas that are circled in green. There's some areas that are circled in red. There's some areas that are not circled at all. And what you're looking for is you're looking for patterns. Patterns to help you understand what it is that you need to do in order to be successful. And from those patterns, you can get strategic signposts. And what I found in working with my clients over the years is it's interesting. Most clients come up with what boils down to fundamentally 3 different signposts that they pursue. One of them tends to be financial, one tends to be operational, one can be in the sales and marketing arena. But that's what you want to look for, is the patterns that define your success. And let me give you an example of that. The contractor that we've been talking about here, this is what they came up with as far as their strategic signposts. Number 1, intelligent spending and staffing. In other words, in order for them to be successful, they wanted to filter all their decisions through these 3 signposts. We must be intelligent in our spending and staffing. Number 2, we're going to be a merit shop in Southern California, fabricating and installing tilt-ups to parking structures. This is really great right here. They define exactly who they are, where they're going to do business, and what they're going to do in one sentence right there. And what that helps them to do is, let's say they get an offer to do a job, let's say in Colorado or Utah or something like that. Well, they run that decision through their strategic signposts, and because they decided to be a merit shop in Southern California, it doesn't align with their current strategy, and so they don't pursue that opportunity. They're clear on their strategy, and that helps them with the decisions that they make. And then their 3rd signpost is doing more than expected, okay, which relates back to the heart of the organization. It relates back to how they're actually going to do the work. And these 3 signposts for them help them to stay focused on what they're going to do in order to be successful. So when you're doing your strategic signposts, you've got to make sure that they resonate with the team and that they inspire confident and purposeful decisions. And finally, they give leadership the clarity and the courage to stay the course. If you've done some good thinking about your strategic decisions, when you go through those bad days or when you go through those bad weeks perhaps, having those clear strategic signposts enable you to stay on track, and they can inspire confident and purposeful decisions. So it's absolutely critical that you can go through the planning process. Okay, the last part of the pyramid is priority. Priority. And this is absolutely critical, because once you've got a foundation as far as your purpose and your personality is concerned, once you've sat down and you've asked, what is our plan? How are we going to be successful? Then what you need to do is you need to ask, what is our priority? And by the way, going back to this planning process, you need to do this, I would say, at least every 90 days. You need to sit down and think about these things at least every 90 days. When was the last time you really sat down and thought about planning for your organization? This is something that needs to be done regularly. You need to work not just in your business, but you need to work on your business. Okay? So, what is your priority? It's a good question. A lot of people are fuzzy about that, right? And the reason why a lot of times we're fuzzy is because there's so many options. There's so many things you could be doing. You could wake up in the morning and serve this customer. You could wake up in the morning and deal with this particular issue. And a lot of times what happens in business is we get into the office, we do a whole bunch of things that aren't really useful to driving our business forward because we really don't have a clear plan on what we need to do in order to be successful. And because of that, we come to the end of our days or the end of our weeks or the end of our months and we realize that we've wasted just our time. And our business is not going the way we want it to go. So you got to have focus. You got to have real clear focus. And in order to do that, you've got to be able to, from that focus, what you're going to get is you're going to get confidence. The reason I stopped there is I'm looking at my duration. I started this webinar a while ago, and it says I only have 60 minutes of duration here. So this may end up ending because I started it before 4 o'clock. So hopefully this doesn't stop the webinar. Anyway, hang in there, guys. We're going to go through this. If you have focus, you can have confidence, and that's the way you can get success. Okay? Now, the whole idea of priority is this. You need a rally cry in your business, right? Just like the guy from 300, right? You need a rally cry. So the contractor example is this. This was the rally cry, the priority for the contractor, and it encompassed a 6-month period. And it was this: fabricate the majority of our own steel. Now, to you, that may not be inspiring at all, right? What's the big deal about fabricating the majority of our own steel? Well, for them, it was the one thing that they had to accomplish in order to be able to say with any credibility that we had a good period of time. So in 6 months, if they were going to be able to say we did a good job, we focused on the one priority that was most important, the one thing we have to do is to fabricate the majority of our own steel. So if someone woke you up in the middle of the night and asked you, what's the most important thing that you need to do in your organization right now, would you be able to tell them? Okay? Not a slogan, but a specific, understandable call to action that resonates with the people in your organization. It's a very, very good question that you've got to ask. So, not only do you need a rally cry, but then you need to build a plan behind that rally cry. It's one thing to have the rally cry, but it's another thing to execute it. So there's important initiatives and critical numbers that drive that rally cry. Let's take a look at that. So this is the one part of the one-page plan that the contractor put together. You notice their rally cry up at the top: fabricate the majority of our own steel. Underneath that, they had these important initiatives, these big buckets of stuff that they had to accomplish in order to get to that rally cry. They had to rebuild their credit with the mills. They had to get a new bank line of credit. They had to run the shop effectively. They had to have accurate job costs. They needed to buy a new truck. All of these things needed to happen in order to drive them to the rally cry of fabricating the majority of their own steel. Now, not only did they have those big buckets of stuff, but they needed a way to track that that was actually happening. And so there's critical numbers that relate to those important initiatives that drive the rally cry. So the critical numbers include their accounts payable and accounts receivable, the status of their line of credit, their payroll, what they fabricated and delivered as far as the weight of steel is concerned. All these different critical numbers are essential in order to drive the important initiatives in order to achieve the rally cry. So ask yourself, do you have this kind of clarity in your organization right now? If not, this is something that you need to go to work on. Because the whole goal is to come up with a one-page plan. And this is an example of what I mean by a one-page plan. The contractor has a one-page with their purpose on it. We exist for the enjoyment we get from problem solving with the people we love and accomplishing things. Real aspirational. Personality, we do more than expected. Our plan, we're going to be an intelligent spending and staffing company. We're going to be a merit shop. We're going to do more than expected, and then they've got their priority. Everything on one piece of paper. All the owners, all the executives, all the managers, and all the leaders in your organization need to have a one-page like this on their desks so that they can really be clear on what needs to be done in order to be successful in your organization. Okay, so the question you've got to ask yourself is, where are you as far as that's concerned? I like this quote here. Official truths are often powerful illusions. You know what the official truths are? The official truths are the truths that we tell people when we're at networking events. How's your business going? Oh, it's going great, right? But think about this for your organization. Do you have a clear plan? Have you gone through the process of determining why you're in business? Are you really clear on what you need to do to be successful? Because if you're not, it's going to be very difficult for you to run a successful company on an ongoing basis. There's official truths, and then there's ground truths. And that's really what you need to specialize in as an organization. What are the ground truths? What are the ground truths in your company? Perhaps the ground truth is that there is incompetence there. Okay? Perhaps you've never gone through a planning process, or perhaps you're not disciplined to execute on the things that you plan. Okay? But success is something that is available really to all of us. Each of us as business owners have the opportunity to plan for success. And you can use this planning pyramid in order to do that. You can talk about what your purpose is. You can understand what the personality of your organization is. Those two things are key to drive the plan and then to drive the priority. And that's something that you can be working on regularly. Okay? So, what I'd like to offer to everyone here on the webinar is a 6-week course. And this 6-week course is something that we do where we're going to go through each one of these 4 levels of the pyramid. And this is how it works. Week 1, we're going to talk about your purpose. Week 2, we're going to talk about the personality of the organization. Week 3, we're going to have an open question and answers time. Week 4, we're going to talk about the plan. Week 5, priority, and then week 6, we're going to go back to the open question and answer so that we can wrap up the whole time. The thing about it is this. It's a format where we're going to have a weekly 1-hour webinar on Thursdays from 4 to 5 o'clock Pacific time. And during that webinar, it'll be a group coaching session with all of my clients who go through this course so that we can look at each one of the levels of this pyramid. And the whole goal is so that you can learn to build your one-page plan and have a tool that lasts a lifetime to help you to execute successfully in your organization. Okay? So I want to thank you for coming on the webinar today, and I want to offer this 6-week course to you for $997. Believe me, this is a planning process that I do one-on-one with my clients, and it's something that costs thousands and thousands of dollars. But in the format of a group coaching session over a webinar, I'm able to offer it for 6 weeks for $997. As a special bonus, if you sign up today, I will give you unlimited lifetime email correspondence. And what I mean by that is this. Let's say you go through the 6-week course. We do a great job putting a plan together for your organization. And you want to be able to chat with me about that as you go through the process of building and growing your company, and you want to do that via email, I am more than delighted to do that for you. Okay? So that's the course that we have to offer. If this is something that's interesting to you, you can contact me via email or via phone. Here's my email address, eric@ericanderton.com, or you can call me on my phone or text me, and I'm happy to chat with you about that. And the question you've got to ask is, are you going to be courageous? Are you going to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not? That's a really, really good question. I want to encourage you as a courageous entrepreneur to take action. And if you'd like to join me in the 6-week course to go through the planning pyramid, you're more than welcome to. And I think we're running out of time here, unfortunately, because the webinar thing is showing me yellow here. So if we disconnect here and you want to contact me and connect with me after this, please do so. I apologize for this. This is the first time I've used GoToWebinar instead of other webinar services. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask those questions. You can put them in the message box, and I'm happy to answer them. Oh, it looks like we didn't get kicked off the webinar. That's great. So if anyone has questions, I'm happy to answer them. If anyone would like to contact me by phone or by email to further discuss, what do you do with companies whose purpose boils down to want to make money? I'm happy to talk to you about that. Yeah, I'm happy to talk to you about that and go through the process. If that's what your business boils down to, then that's fine, and that's absolutely fine. You need to be able to focus on that, and you need to make sure that that's something that's communicated in your organization, and so that everyone is very clear on that. But it doesn't mean you can't run a great business if that's the sole purpose of your organization. I'm more than happy to work with you there. And thanks for that question there, Daniel. Other questions? All right, terrific. Well, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to jump on the webinar with me here. I know some of you here, Cheryl and David and Anthony, really appreciate that, and Hong, I appreciate you jumping on as well. And many of you know you have my personal email here and my personal phone number. Feel free to contact me, and I'm happy to help you guys in any way that I can. So we're going to look at this. It's 4:35. Isn't that great? You're committed to an hour, and it only took 35 minutes. And unless anyone has any other questions, then I can send everyone a copy of this the slide deck here and a copy of the recording. If you just send me an email requesting that, then I can send you that. Okay? Awesome. Everyone have a great day. Thanks a lot.